You guys, as a longtime YouTube watcher, this story is so crazy, and I really debated talking about it because of the fact that there is just so much being said about Aspen, but I'm making this video coming from a place of having watched her since she was dating Parker in high school, and for this to just kind of be an explainer of what the heck is going on, what has been said, what she said, the timeline of events that we know of right now, just for anyone that is confused and wants to know the lore of all of her TikToks, because honestly, the TikToks that she's posting right now are so good that I feel like everybody just needs the context, because most of the comment section of her TikToks are like, I have no one to talk about this with, and I have no one to talk about this with, so we are going to be talking about it. And Aspen, if you're watching this, I promise it's not going to be a bad video. It's just going to be a little explainer of what you've been posting, what's going down, but let's get into everything that is going on. I've talked about Aspen Ovard a couple times in weekly recaps, but there's so much going on right now, I figured we needed a dedicated video to go over all that's going on and what has everyone so invested in her life. Aspen has been online forever, it feels. She started her main YouTube channel back in 2010, which back then it was more beauty related and then transitioned into more lifestyle content. Aspen started dating Parker in high school, and fans have followed their entire journey. From their engagement in 2015 to their wedding that same year, fans have seen them travel the world and also bring new life into this world as they've documented the birth of their 3 children. Though after the birth of her 3rd child this year, that's when buzz surrounding Aspen's world started really kicking up. The same day she announced the birth of her child, public record showed that she actually filed for divorce. It was April 1st, and some wondered if this was just a sick April Fool's rumor, but it wasn't. Fans were extremely confused because they always saw Parker as this dream golden retriever husband, and she had just posted with him not too long ago, so everyone was like, how can this be? This doesn't seem right. And it was just shocking. Months went by and she hadn't said anything, so people were like, is it true? Is it not? Are they divorced? What's going on? But public record doesn't lie, so it really had everyone thrown off. In August, she ended up confirming in a TikTok that the rumors of her getting a divorce were true, but that she wasn't going to be discussing the details of her divorce for the sake of her children.
You see how I don't talk about my divorce online? Very demure, very mindful. You see how I considered my children and how it would affect them to have their family's personal information shared all over the internet? Very smart, very good mom. You see how those magazines and websites wrote articles sharing personal information that I hadn't shared yet when I had just given birth to a premature baby who was in the NICU? Very trashy, very tacky. See how I will continue to stay unbothered and not share anything to protect my peace. Very demure, very mindful, very cutesy, very peaceful.
Fans were absolutely shocked and wanted to know more information. She wasn't really wanting to share too much in terms of why they got a divorce, but she did talk more openly about the fact that she was divorced, as she started going on some podcasts, starting with the Pretty Basic podcast. She had planned to go on for a while now, but things just never worked out. But not too long ago, she moved from Utah to California, so it worked out for her to coordinate a filming date with Remy and Alicia now that she was much closer to them. On the podcast, there was one point where she was talking about working with a partner, and it seemed like she was maybe saying this was an issue for her and Parker, but it was the most that she was revealing.
Working with my husband that I was married to, like, we had so much fun doing all of the crazy things we were doing. Like, we were traveling all over. Like, it just made sense for us to be doing everything together. But I also think it totally can work for people. I think it just depends on like the type of workers that each person is, because I'm very type A. And when I'm working with someone who's not type A, it just doesn't really work well all the time, because we just work very differently, and we're like organized in different ways and like structure things different ways.
Also living together alone plus
I think that a lot of lines just get blurred. And I feel like sometimes when you're in that moment or you're like going through it, it's like, again, well, it's working for now and like it's fine and we have all these fun opportunities and all this stuff. But I think just looking back, there are a lot of things that I feel like I would have done differently that I think could have helped and maybe had things be like a different outcome than they are now.
She talked about this a little further in a TikTok when someone wanted to hear more about her thoughts on social media and partners.
I think in terms of mixing business with your relationship, now that I can look back and kind of see how that journey played out for me, I feel like it just makes it really difficult to know what you're doing because you are romantic partners versus what you're doing because you're business partners. Maybe if your love language is like acts of service, and so you do something that's like work related, and then you see that as like you doing something nice for that person, but you actually were just doing your job, if that makes sense. Like it just kind of makes everything really difficult, and I feel like the lines and the boundaries for what is what just get really confusing. And I feel like it's so situational. Like for some people, I think it totally can work, and there was a period of time where I feel like it did work when I was like traveling a ton and we were having so much fun, and it just made sense for us to be doing everything together. It's been a lot of years now that we have not like been working together pretty much since we had kids. There's just so much more to life like when you add kids into the mix, and so adding in like parenting and marriage, working together, I feel like that's too many things to be mixing.
Someone on TikTok had asked her if she would be open to dating again, which it seemed like not really, and she opened up about where she kind of was with that.
Honestly, I don't know if I will ever get to the point of wanting to date again. Maybe if it was like a fun date, like for the plot, just to tell you guys like fun stories or something. I'm sure everybody says this who like was in a relationship for a long time. I can't even like imagine being in that place of wanting to have a partner again. When you haven't like experienced the type of relationship that you'd probably want to have, like it feels like that doesn't really exist. And to like think about going into a new relationship, like I feel like the second somebody did one single thing to like trigger me or remind me of the past, like they are done. I know that's not healthy and I know that's not good, but that's just how I feel at this point. I can't imagine myself ever feeling differently. I feel like my whole like nervous system for the past, I don't even know how many years, has just been like in such fight or flight mode that I don't even know how to like be normal anymore and like be open to giving someone a chance and thinking that like love exists. I know that's sad, I know that's not good, but that is just like the reality of how I feel.
But despite everything, it did seem as though her and Parker were on pretty good terms, as he did appear in some TikToks and she did go to Disney with him and his family, even after coming out about them being divorced. But all isn't butterflies and rainbows, and she has been more open about that recently. Aspen has been pretty active on TikTok, being more open and honest with her followers about how she's really doing mentally in her life. And sometimes she posts these silly, goofy videos, but she has also been answering more questions on TikTok and getting raw and real about the struggles going on behind the scenes, without revealing what exactly is going on, just sharing that she isn't living this California dream right now, life isn't the highlight reel on Instagram, and that she is struggling daily.
I really do not feel like this at all. I feel like maybe it seems that way because I'm like happier and I'm in California and everything. There has just been like so much in my life the last few years. I feel like I still have not processed everything. Even just like the last few days, I feel like as I'm trying to kind of think through my trauma and like process what has gone on in my life, like I just have so much anxiety and like my brain cannot quite understand, just in like all different aspects of my life. Like I'm not talking about just one specific thing. I'm definitely doing better than I have been in the past. Moving definitely helped that. Like I just am in a much better headspace being in a new environment, being in California, being around like different friends, being able to go, obviously I can go outside in Utah, but I'm not like by the beach. Like I love to be by the beach. Am I doing better? Yes. Do I feel like I'm thriving? No. I should immediately be in therapy. I kind of feel like at this point I'm like relearning how to live my life. Life has just been not, what's the word, good for the last few years. There are still certain things that I like continue to go through. I really feel like I'm just trying to figure out how to like exist.
This past week is when a lot of people have been like, what on earth is going on? Because it seemed things were starting to come loose. It kind of started when Aspen posted this video on TikTok talking about things that she would be looking for in a future partner, and fans were really reading into it.
You guys have asked me what are a few characteristics or things I'd be looking for in my next relationship if I was ever ready to date again. So I thought of a few just like off the top of my head. So the first one is someone who doesn't lie. I know it seems like an obvious one, but imagine if they lied for like 10 years or something. Like imagine how crazy. Second one, I would love someone who has a job. I think that would be like really nice. And bonus points if they will actually like financially contribute. What else? If they didn't accuse me of cheating on them all the time. Someone who carries their fair share of like the mental load and like life and like raising kids and running a household and stuff like that. And if I didn't have to like pretty much do almost all of that myself, like if they wanted to contribute. I think that if they didn't like gaslight me, anybody who's really like gonna better my life, and if they are trying to like improve their life and eat healthy, be active, just like work on themselves and really bringing something to the table, that would be super cool too. So
I don't know, I feel like my bar is kind of low.
I'll admit I saw this and my jaw was completely on the floor. People were assuming a lot of things after this, including whether or not she was insinuating Parker was gay or not, which she quickly did shut down, I'm gonna say that, in another TikTok, saying that she would never come out and out anyone.
I would never, ever talk about someone else's sexuality on the internet. Like sometimes people ask me like, oh, is so-and-so gay? Like so-and-so must be gay. Not that I'm aware of, and even if they were, that would never be my place to share on the internet.
She later answered some more questions and responded to one person who said she was glowing, which she opened up more about the struggles that she's facing at the moment and that she really is not okay.
People are like, oh, like the new era, you're glowing, you seem so happy. I was sobbing earlier, and I cry all the time. I've lost so much weight in the last month or two because I literally can't even eat because I feel so sick to my stomach all the time, and I feel like I could literally throw up at any moment because I'm in such disbelief about the deception that I have experienced and just like all of the traumatic things that I have been through. Before my life like literally fell apart, like obviously I haven't really shared that much like a lot of hard things, but I didn't have a lot of hard things before. So people are like, oh, I thought your life was perfect, like why didn't you share? I feel like the things that I did share, like I shared that I struggled a lot after I had my second daughter, like not because of her specifically, but just the mental load of 2 kids, being the working mom, being the only one who's really like providing and just kind of carrying like that mental load for my family, whether that was like the perception that I put out there or not, that was how it was. And so I feel like I shared those like little things that I was struggling with, but it wasn't as intense as like what I have gone through since. And I don't know, again, it's just not that enjoyable to like open up. Like it's nice to connect with people, but especially when I haven't shared like everything, it's the most lonely feeling, literally.
She ended up responding to a comment on her TikTok and said that though she said she was going to keep things private, that was before she knew what she knows now, and she's now trying to navigate how to deal with things after knowing this information.
And I know that I said I wasn't really going to talk about this a lot, but the other day when I was feeling very cutesy and very demure, I didn't know what I know now. You know who did? Everybody else. Everybody else knew the whole time. I mean, I don't even know what to say. There is nothing that could have hurt me more. And don't worry, I do have therapy tomorrow. I'm starting therapy. I literally got on the phone consultation just to like see if it was a good fit and whatever, and started bawling my eyes out the second she said like, tell me about yourself, like what's going on? I don't even know like how to navigate my life from here because I mean, I just don't know. It's kind of weird to see people's perspectives from the outside because when you're sharing your life and you're living it, you see the whole thing, you see the whole circle. When you only put out certain parts of your life, like I knew that I didn't share all of my life, and I really didn't share like the negative parts of my life because I do like to have my privacy. When you see everything in your life because you're living it and then you only are putting out certain parts of it, it's hard to see what that actually looks like and how that's perceived from the outside because you know everything. Does that make sense? Even if I knew that I wasn't posting like, oh, this certain issue's going on or whatever, like I still know what's happening, so I can't see from the same perception of people from the outside looking in. So I'm like seeing these people like, oh, I thought like this was happening and like this is how it worked and whatever. I'm like, dang, I messed up by unintentionally making it look a certain way when it wasn't. Like I guess that's kind of just what happens when you only share the highlights of your life. But point is, I'm starting therapy. Take back everything I said about not talking about it. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I feel frozen in my grief. I don't know.
This is when things really started turning because she started liking and commenting on things, and it had fans speculating on more of what was going on. And Aspen did like a comment under her video that said, what did everyone else know? And someone said, I'm assuming she means Parker's family knew he was lying to her about something and they all kept his secrets. and she liked that, you guys. There was also an old video of them from November of last year where they were going on vacation, and she posted this video saying, somehow I planned, paid, and packed for this entire vacation, and yet I ended up in the middle seat of the airplane between two toddlers while this man has the row all to himself. And someone commented on the video this week and said, this hits different now, and she said, I was also pregnant. Everyone just wanted to know more, honestly, and Aspen opened up about just not knowing what to share and what to keep in.
Keep filming this and then starting over because I literally don't know what to say and I don't know where to go from here. Seriously, like I don't even know. I don't know. I keep trying to decide like how much is too much to share, and obviously my top priority is my kids, but for me to just completely suffer in silence when I couldn't even have ever imagined that this would happen, which is actually hilarious because looking back now, I'm like, it's on me at this point for missing all the signs that were there. Like, just the fact that I never picked up on anything is actually the most insane. That's the craziest part of it all. I don't know. I know people are like tuned in to whatever, and genuinely, I'm not trying to just string along this like whatever. Like, you guys know I love a little funny video with a funny sound, but I'm not laughing. It's actually not funny. Am I gonna stop posting videos like that? Probably not, because I think it's just a way that I cope. I don't know how I'm still going. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know how to keep sharing my life like in a normal way. I don't know.
As she was talking about all of this more openly, Parker's mom had apparently posted onto her Instagram story and said, stop. Mama Bear is coming out. Stay tuned. Would you like to hear another side of the story? Yes or no? This same week, Aspen later ended up posting some funny TikToks where she's like joking about having these conversations with Parker about making TikToks. One says, me trying to explain to him that there is a really funny revenge audio he should use right now for his first TikTok ever, and maybe it would go viral and maybe everyone would forgive him. Then she posted another one that said, when I'm trying to explain to him that people are about to be over our crap and this is his time to launch his TikTok career by really leaning into the villain arc, so he needs to hurry. Fans were confused as they were thinking that she really didn't like him or they were on bad terms now. So for her to be like joking that they're hanging out and having these kinds of conversations, people were like, what is going on, Aspen? We need answers. And she explained in a TikTok that 1, he's not gay, that 2, he didn't cheat on her as far as she knows, and that he's going to be around because they have kids together, and she was just urging people to be nice to him.
Obviously, we have kids together, and like I said before, if you see him around, if you see him in the background of something, whatever, we have kids together. Also, he's not gay, you guys. Wish that's what it was, to be honest. There's nothing I love more than a gay man. That would have made me stay. Also say, I don't think I've ever been cheated on. To my knowledge, I never have. That's all I'm gonna say. I've really been thinking about my kids a lot, and I just do not even know how to like share certain things that I'm going through, still maintain like the level of privacy for my kids. So I just don't know exactly like what this looks like. I think I kind of just have to go day by day and like see how I feel. What I will say is, trust me when I say, just be nice to him. If you're gonna say anything, just be nice. Trust me. Just trust me.
In comments to follow, she did reply to one where someone said, okay, but the mother-in-law's Instagram story had me shook, and she said, honestly, same. Things did get even crazier though, as she started posting with Parker, which truly sent everyone into outer space, especially me. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're together and they're posting, and she's like wrapped around him. And it only continued as she posted another where she's sitting on Parker, because you can see his foot in the background there, so you know that she's sitting on him. And she said, his mom can't do what I can. And she captioned it, she might be a mama bear, but I am mother, which was certainly a reference to Parker's mom's Instagram story the other day where she said that mama bear was coming out. And Aspen confirmed in a TikTok that she posted the next day where she addressed her previous day's post and joked about that one day her girls are going to see that and say that she ate grandma up in that one TikTok.
Guys, I fear I might be going crazy, and I think that I'm okay with it. I think the reality is that I truly am a shell of a human, and I think that I will be for a long time, if not forever. The grief from that is definitely going to come in waves for me, but I don't want to talk about it all the time. And I also feel like what has worked well for me before when I'm just navigating something new is like figuring it out and then talking about it later. This is not like a PR stunt. Like life is just that serious to me. When I say that, I don't mean like getting divorced and being sad. Like that is literally, I'm traumatized. It always feels better to laugh. And I know that when my girls grow up and if they see any of these videos, they're gonna be like, Mom, you were an icon. Mom, you slayed. Mom, you ate grandma up with that one post. I love that for them. I'm gonna keep on doing it.
So it's really been a lot. People are truly so invested in what's going on here and are just wanting the best for Aspen. Honestly, like all the comments are filled with curiosity, but also they're filled with so much love and support for Aspen. They just want her to be good and hate to see her sad, and they're willing to go to battle for her. But in the end, she did try to like wrap up the weekend of online curiosity by saying what she would and wouldn't be sharing online going forward.
Okay, I don't want to be too annoying, so I will reply to this comment and tell you guys what, as of now, I plan to share and to not share. I'm not going to share exactly what happened, what I found out, whatever. I don't even think about that right now. I'm not going to share details of like the terms of my divorce. Like that's the type of stuff that I'm like, my kids don't need their information online. Like talk about me, talk about whatever. Don't talk about my kids. It's weird, especially because if I was posting them or anything to do with them or anything, people would also be telling me that I'm like a mother who exploits my children. So for anyone to be like talking about anything or like wanting information that I've said I don't want to post for my kids, you're weird. All of those posts from earlier this week where I was down in the dumps, that is so for real. That is so genuine. Like I don't even want to like take my brain back to how I was feeling earlier this week. I'm sure I'll feel that way again, probably very soon, like literally maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I don't always want to share that because it's not fun and it's just like, what do I even say? Just know that I'm going through it and just know that I feel a little bit better when I think of a funny TikTok idea and then I make it and I post it. Let's just laugh. Let's not be so serious. Life is not that serious when it comes to like social media stuff.
I really never thought that we would be talking about Aspen, but honestly, just like so many people have been talking about this online and a lot of people are confused or they're saying they have nobody to talk about this with. And for anyone who is just kind of like finding her TikToks for the first time or like trying to understand the whole scope of the story, hopefully now you understand what's been going on and how we kind of got here. Let me know if you guys have been following along on all things Aspen Ovard. If you've been watching her for a very long time as well, let me know your thoughts. I love you guys so much and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye guys.